Happy Friday, Dan United, Brian United, international football doing what it does at its absolute best, ruining our week, ruining the fact that we can't watch the beloved team that we absolutely adore, Manchester United, play. But you know something? I sat there and I thought, we could talk about transfer news. We could talk about what's going right, what's going wrong. Or let's go through the players, because we haven't done this for a while, and I wanted to see where you guys are at, rating them as we are through the season so far. And I'm really excited to see what you guys have in store as much as me. Look, this is a community. I could sit here and talk at you and do a video about it, not giving you the chance to reply. But that's not how we do things on Dan United. So I thought, what better way than for all of us tonight to go through the players and have a good old chat about them. So before we start, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Live every night, 8 o'clock. Apologies for last night. Unfortunately, work is work. It takes me and it consumes me. But I'm back tonight. So let's go through it. Now, I've made a rule here that I don't want to go through players that aren't making that many appearances at the moment. So the likes of Heaven won't be there, Fredrickson won't be there. But the main crux of it, I think it's important for us to go through these players and really have a good old chat about where we actually see them. Now, I'm going to write them down, what our ratings are, because this isn't just, as I said, my ratings. This is our ratings. And I think what better way to start than the goalkeeper. So we will start first with the man who was in the sticks from the start. And before we do, actually, let's say hello to everyone. Good evening, Chappie. I hope you're well. Happy Friday, mate. Same to you, Anthony. Hope you are well. Ben, hope you're doing good, my friend. It is bloody horrible out there. Honestly, I didn't think my poor car was going to make it home tonight. We will probably disagree on a lot of them, to be fair. But hey, that's what we do this for. Good evening, Akko. Hope you're good, mate. Wow, says a lot. And Anthony says 9. Wasn't it that long ago I said half the squad wasn't good enough? And I did look. Whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching this back on playback, I want to hear your opinions. I absolutely want to hear your opinions on this. There are people I'm going to say that are decent. You're going to go, Dan, shut the hell up. Vice versa. That's why we do it. Speaking of a lot, slap the like and sub helps Danny Boy out a lot. A lot. It absolutely does. This community, man, adore you all. Right then, let's start with the goalkeeper, the man who was in the sticks from the very start. Be in there. Now then. Be in there, be in there, be in there, be in there, be in there. Part of the team up until Sunderland, and we've had some abysmal games with this guy in the sticks. And this was a really big opportunity for being there to stake a claim with Onana being completely and utterly not fancied from the off. I think it's only fair somebody has put his ratings on the screen already. I think it's only fair that we start with him now. Had a couple of games where he got through them, mainly due to the fact we were able to do our job in front of him. But let's be honest, as a goalkeeper, your main job is to be able to distribute from the back, collect the ball, and make yourself big when it comes to dead ball situations. And honestly, I look at this guy and I'm so glad that he is no longer in Manchester United's plans playing in any games. I think providing that Lemmy stays fit, I don't see this guy playing again because we're in the FA Cup. That's it, the Premier League and the FA Cup. And for me, it makes complete sense to only have the one goalkeeper, a steadfast person that goes throughout. So for me, I'm going to go with being there. Let's not forget, he cost us 3 or 4 games this season. I mean, it compiled with the Brentford game. The last shot on target, he was like, whoop. His inability to come and claim a cross, which is something we're already seeing with this young goalkeeper that we've signed, is just baffling. So I'm going to go with being there. I'm going to go with a lot of people. We'll go through them. I'm going to go with a 3 out of 10 for being there. 3 out of 10. Now get your comments in. I'll give you a couple of seconds. I do want to have a look at what we've got here. Chappie says Lemmy's number 1. Ben says, honestly, I think he might be worse than Onana. Can we just forget we had a keeper before Lemmy, says Anthony. 3.9 says Akko. -6 says Anthony. 1 says Chappie. 1 says Wahaha. I mean, it's an overriding thing there. I'm going to even it up. I'm going to go 2. Okay, we'll go 2. We'll go 2. Now, again, I think this will probably be the worst rating we have on the screen tonight. I think he will be the worst. Let's get rid of him for a second. So the next one that we're going to talk about, and this guy is the saviour. Oh, Ben's gone a generous 4. Wow. We're going to go as a team here, as a community. We're going 2 out of 10 for being there. Now, the next one, the saviour, is Senny Lamons. And Senny Lamons, now the ace of saves, we don't call him the ace of saves for nothing, do we? He has been a revelation since joining Manchester United. I had concerns, and again, full disclosure here, I actually wanted Martinez. I said Martinez over this guy. I said I wanted experience. This is the route we were going down. I believe to this day that Ruben Amorim wanted experience, but we got this guy from Royal Antwerp, and I think he's been incredible. I think he's made saves. It's hard because he's made saves that we all get gassed up about. And we go, oh my God, how's he saved that? And then you look at it and you go, that's actually not a terror. It's a routine save here, routine save. But we have been starved of routine saves, what feels like eternity. And so we have had to put up with shoddy goalkeeping. This guy's come in and steadied the ship. And I actually think I've got to be honest, I'm going to go with Senny Lamons, the fact it's his first season in the Premier League, and for what he's done so far and what he's brought, I'm giving him a 7.5. I think Senny Lamons has been quality. I think he's been absolutely quality. And I'm excited to see where it goes with this lad, because his best years are nowhere near him yet. I mean, goalkeepers do not mature until their 30s. I mean, in comparison, you look at someone like Donnarumma, who's won so much at his age, and he's, 26, 27? So I'm excited to see what happens with Lemmy. And the only thing I would cut out with Lemmy, and I think it's a manager's orders situation, he kicks the ball too long. Too many times. The ball goes so far up the field. Said to Kev in the last game against Spurs that this guy's nearly clearing the stadium with his kicks off the floor. But I think with this team, we know this team has to grow together. And I think with a lad like this at the back, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see where he grows. So for me, Senny Lamons is going to get a 7.5. Anthony says 9+ gold star. Ben says 8 for Lamons for me. Chappie says, Ben, you need to go to Specsavers. I'm not sure. Chappie, I don't think. What have you put? Oh, 7 points. You've only gone 0.3 below him, Chappie. I thought you were going to go like a 4 with that. Jesus Christ. Imagine we got Martinez and he just passed it on to Salah's foot and we lose to Liverpool. The season would be completely different. Agreed with that. He could have done better for some of the goals. He's not fully there yet, but how the dynamics of the defence has changed, he's a gem. And I tell you what, I mean, if Lamons was watching this, he'd be crying, because for Wahaha to give someone a 9, he's got to be impressed. 7.5. Looking at the scores, I think we can round him up to an 8. I'm going to put Lemmy 8. I'm happy with that. Are we happy with 8? I think we're happy with 8. So we're going to go with an 8 for Lamons. I think he's had an incredible start to his Manchester United career. And do you know something? I'm so excited to see what he does. Like I said, this team is growing, and I think he has all of the attributes to become a top class goalkeeper. There are so many, like Courtois' one. Courtois says that he is really, 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 really good. And the ceiling, like you look at players, and we talk about resale value and all that, but the ceiling of him, I mean, he's 6'27" anyway. I think he's brought a calmness, and he's so assured behind the defence, that you're looking at the goalkeeper now, and you're seeing defenders happily pulling the ball back and passing back. They've got confidence that it's not going to. I mean, Spurs rolls over it. I mean, that was terrifying. But other than that, that was a big one for me against Spurs. It was a bad start, and I think if that's Onana, and I think that's Biende, you're going off. That's it. Now we're in for it tonight. But he got his confidence and he carried on. And that is all I can ask for from a goalkeeper. That is all I can ask for a goalkeeper. Moxie says, even everyone, hope you're good, Moxie. Lemmy is getting a 7.8 for me. Team confidence has improved because of him. He'll only get better. The ace of saves. Great comment. The team confidence has improved. And I think that's a massive thing. And okay, fair enough. Chappie says he's on about his 4 for being there. We were all like, fucking hell, Chappie. Okay, so goalkeepers are done. Let's go on to the centre-backs. And the first one I want to bring up is this man here, Matthias de Ligt. Now, de Ligt was someone at the end of last season I looked at as a player and went, I don't think he's up to the Premier League. I think he looks out of sorts. His injury record was abysmal. Players, when they come into the Premier League as a defender, you have to get pretty much up to speed, sharpish, because the pace of the game, the way that the opposition come onto you, it can destroy you as a centre-back. De Ligt is a guy that has been used to having time on the ball in for Ajax and for Juventus. He's had, and of course for Bayern Munich, he has been at top teams and have been afforded the time on the ball to do what he does. In the Premier League, he found out pretty sharpish that you can take a touch on the ball, but as soon as you've taken that touch, there is someone bearing down on you. Now, what I've really enjoyed with him this season is the fact that his confidence to bring the ball out from the back. When he plays right-sided centre-back, I see him so far up the field. And I think this guy at the moment, if it was up to me, would be a contender for the captain. I really do think so. I think he's improved so much. For a player that I was willing to sort of say after this season, we sort of look at shipping him on. I think Matthias de Ligt is someone that you can quite easily build the defence around. I think he's got the respect of his peers. He's got the respect of the manager. And I think he is someone that, as you've seen on Saturday, can chip in with goals at important moments. And more importantly, will throw his body over the line to stop the players at the back. So for me, de Ligt this season, I'm going big. And people on rival fans on Watch Back may laugh, but I am going for an 8 with de Ligt. I think he's been brilliant. Honestly, he's been superb. Ben says he's looking a lot better recently, 6.57. Anthony says 7 to 8. He is fast becoming one of the best in the league. His stats this season so far are very impressive. They absolutely are. Akko goes 8. Moxie goes 9. Our future captain hasn't done a lot wrong. One of the best in the Premier League this season so far. I agree with that. Chappie's gone 7.9 and Wahaha's gone 8. I think we're there or thereabouts with an 8 together. And I think this is another thing. We look at the Van Dijks, and Van Dijk, he's won everything, hasn't he? Let's be honest. But I think when you look at the seasons that they're having, put them together, I think de Ligt's been better, and I do. And Liverpool have struggled. I think he's done better than some of those. De Ligt walks into a Chelsea side. I think Chelsea fans will admit that. I think de Ligt gets in Newcastle. I think de Ligt doesn't get in Arsenal. Arsenal's too are phenomenal. Dare I say Liverpool? I think he'd walk into Liverpool. When you look at players in our team and you say, would they get into rival teams' first 11s? De Ligt on this season, I think does, and I think he does easily. Carl, good to see you, mate. He says, even though sorry ain't been on holiday, you lucky bugger. He goes in with an 8. I think we're all in agreement that Matthias de Ligt goes with an 8 out of 10. We're doing really well with this, guys. I think this is going quite nice and steady. I don't think we've had any stupid ones yet. The next one we will bring up, I mean, there's only one, isn't there? Sir Harold Maguire. Sir Harold Maguire. Now, this one it's a tough one with Maguire because you can base it on the fact of the Liverpool goal. And on the Liverpool goal alone, for me, it would be a 10. You know what I mean? I would. I think we can talk about this guy's character and fact he's been through it all with all of the stuff he's faced being at Manchester United, people belittling him, people absolutely ripping him to shreds. But this guy has the mental toughness of someone incredible. I honestly think so. Harry Maguire is never going to be a player that you look at and you go, this guy could consistently get a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, an 8 out of 10. But I think a lot of you in the chat are saying this, and I would say that Harry hasn't done much wrong. He's been skinned a couple of times, but he hasn't done much wrong. I thought against Liverpool, he took the fight to them. He was so strong in the air, didn't let anything come past him. I would be erring on the side of a 6.5 or a 7 for Sir Harold Maguire. And I think I'm going to go with 7 because I can't forget the Liverpool goal, all right? I can't forget it. So I'm going to go with a 7. Let's go. Ben says 6. Okay. Carl says 7 only because he hasn't played loads. Chappie says 7. Akko says 6.5. Anthony says same. Got to give Harry 7 to 8. Really solid this season. Can't really complain. And the Liverpool goal was just magic. The fact that he single-handedly sacked Ollie. I think there was a few that sacked Ollie, to be fair, and a lot of them aren't at the club anymore. One of them can't even get a game in Mexico, but that's for another time. Moxie says 6.75 for me. Can have great moments. He is pretty solid, but his lack of pace can hinder us sometimes. It can. I think Ruben Amorim has worked out the games you can play Harry Maguire. Let's not forget, I don't think Harry Maguire was bad against Spurs at the weekend. I thought he was okay. And I'd go as far to say I think we missed him coming off the pitch. Harry Maguire does have that presence about him. He is going to fly in. He is going to win headers. So That's the greatest compliment I could give Harry Maguire, is that we miss him when he's not on the field, I think, in certain games. Carl says he's always reliable when he plays, and Wahaha says 7, I guess. So we're going to go with 7. I think we're all happy with that. Guys, as I say, if you're watching this on playback, put your comments in. I'll be interested to see where it is you are with some of these players. Harry Maguire, man, honestly, what a redemption arc. What a redemption arc. Right then, the next one we will go, who's played a lot of football this season. Luke Shaw. So Luke Shaw, I think this one's going to divide. I think this one's going to divide opinions, because I actually think take out City, take out the fact he got skinned against Isaac, Brentford, maybe. I don't think Shaw's been that bad this season, considering I think he is one of the biggest square pegs in round holes we've had to utilise. I think he's done okay. I would love to see a fully fit Luke Shaw bombing up and down that wing at left wing back. And my hope is that after the international break, we will see that with Martinez, the butcher, coming back. But when you talk about a player who's just got his head down and got on with it, I think Luke Shaw's one of them. And I think he has brought stability to this side. I think his character around the team is one that is missed when he's not there. And he is fast becoming someone that I do believe Ruben Amorim does rely on this season. Okay, I say this season because next season I don't see Luke Shaw staying at this club. I'd be very surprised if we really are doing this whole rebuild and we're looking to completely revamp in that next stage. I think Luke Shaw is one of the people that will probably be sacrificed for that. I will say with Luke Shaw, I am happy to go with a 6.5 with Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw's done okay, and I think he's gone about his business the right way, and I think he is someone that I think he's been quite consistent. The only games, again, I think Nottingham Forest, I thought he was a bit shaky, but on the whole, I think he's done okay. Ben says 7 for Luke. Anthony says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but can't see how he is lower than 7. He's done a decent job. 7.6 says Chappie. 7 as well, says Wahaha. Anthony then says he's put some cracking last-minute tackles in too. Guys, you've spoken. We'll go with a 7 for sure. For sure. I'm happy to do that. I thought I was being a bit harsh on him, to be fair, and maybe I was. I think it's just Luke Shaw. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because Luke Shaw is a player that's been here for so long that we kind of look at and we say, what do you bring to the team moving forward? Talk about with Le Mans, us being a team that are going to be growing together and doing what we're doing. What will Luke Shaw be a part of in that future for Manchester United? And at 30, you'd have to say that he is going to be part of that old guard that starts to get moved on a little bit, I think. Moxie says, think Shaw is a 6.5 for me. Still gets found out a little bit at left-sided centre-back, but has been steady. Definitely should be played at left wing-back when Martinez is back. I would play him there now myself. I can't disagree with that at all, Moxie. I can't disagree with that. So that's Luke Shaw on a 7. I think we're happy with a 7. Let's go to the next one. The next one is this guy, honestly. This guy is going to be something in this game, I'm telling you. Lenny Yoro. Now, Lenny Yoro's been... he had that stat, didn't he, where he wasn't part of a winning United team when he'd started the games since he'd signed, I think, and it finally broke this season. But I'm really happy with Lenny Yoro. I think our biggest problem with Lenny Yoro is we forget how old he is. He's still playing for the under-21s for France. I've been really happy with his development. And when I say his development, I don't necessarily mean his game. I mean his development as a man as well. He's bulked a little bit. I think he looks calm. I think he is another one of these defenders that is happy to bring that ball out from defence. There are still mistakes in this kid's game, but please remember I said kid. He is still a kid, and this kid is going to improve, and he is going to become a fantastic footballer. My worry for Lenny Yoro is he would end up one day at somewhere like Real Madrid. I honestly think that. I think if we can grow, and again, I talk about grow. Imagine the players that we're looking at in growing with Manchester United. Le Mans, 20, 21. Yoro, 20. Then you've got Ahmad. You've got, who else have you got? Chida Obi. You've got Mainu if he stays. You've got Dorgu if he improves. You've got Diego Leon. You've got so many of them. So this kid is going to be a big part of Manchester United's future. I'm just glad that looking at the ratings here that we are still having love for him in the sense of we're not going in. Like I can't see anyone going, oh, 5, but he's been shit. It's this, it's that. We have to remember we do. He's one of ours, okay? And we back him. And he will be someone in the next 5 years that will go right to the top. I've got nothing but love for this lad, and I think he is incredible, honestly. For my rating, I would go with a 6 for Lenny Yoro. A 6 is average. I don't think he's been world class. Well, I wouldn't say world class. I don't think he's been utter class, but I don't think he's been dog shit. And there's been games where he has been found out a little bit, but that will come with development. There's not many teams in this league that are playing lads his age in the Premier League. There just isn't. Okay, so there has to be that grace for him, I think. Wahaha's gone 5. Ben's gone 6 for now, but things to come. Anthony says, absolutely love Yoro. Young has a fantastic future. 8 some games. He is a 7 some games. Easy 9. Okay. Big praise. Chappie's gone with 5.9. I'm rounding it up to 6, Chappie. Akko's gone 6.3. I'm rounding that down to 6. Moxie says 7.5. Our centre-back for the next 10 years is fantastic on the ball, confident in his ability. And he's only 20 last week. There you go. We talk about these lads coming through and being the future of this club, and he will be. And again, I think he is someone that absolutely is trusted by the manager. So Lenny Yoro, I think we can, looking at what we've put there, I think we can go to a 6.5 with that. I think I'm happy to go 6.5, judging by what we've got there. 6.5 for Yoro. This is going well. I'm enjoying this, guys. We don't do this enough. And I think we should start doing more stuff like this. It gives us a chance to have a talk through where the players are and essentially what we think and what we expect and what we demand. Right then, so we've done the centre-backs. The next one I'm going to bring up, this one's going to be painful. Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot for me is a player that shows willing to play for Manchester United, but do you know what? We'd expect that regardless. I think he has been found out. I think his level was reached a couple of years ago, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This guy is in serious danger, I think, of losing his place at Manchester United. We can go on about the fact that he is related to Amorim distantly, but he is not good enough for Manchester United. And that's a sad thing to say because it feels like he's been here forever. I remember when we signed him with Mourinho. In fact, he has been here for a long time. Mourinho signed him. Mourinho said this guy was going to grow up and be absolute class. I don't see it. I don't. I get the feeling, I get the news that he is loved around the club. So was Onana, and we bombed him out, didn't we? Diogo Dalot offers nothing going up and down the pitch. We play him on the left side sometimes. He has to check back in to use his right, which ultimately gives the defender a chance to push him back and pull him out of position. I think Sesko has absolutely, when he's played, suffered because of Dalot. And Dalot is he switches off. There are so many times we see him switch off at the back. We saw it at the weekend. We've seen it several times. If I'm Manchester United and I get offered 25, 30 million for the lad, I'm getting rid. I'm absolutely getting rid. So for me, Diogo Dalot gets a 3.5. I think he's been woeful. I genuinely do. Let's have a look at what you're going in the comments. Ben says 4. Yes, Wahaha, we're judging him on... Wahaha, there's nothing wrong with what you've said about Yoro, mate. It's your opinion. And those long diagonal balls, if we can get those into play, I'm talking about Yoro there. Ben says 4, tries his best, but just isn't good enough. Agree with that. 4, he is there because we haven't got a replacement yet, says Anthony. Absolutely agree with that. Dalot, -1, says Akko. He's stuck on development. He's always available, but not enough. He reminds me of a lad that I used to manage. Turn up every week, but you're never going to play him, are you? And I think he's played more football, and I think he would if we had better players there. He's there because others that came in are worse than him. 3. Wahaha. I'm going to say this now. I would have kept Wan-Bissaka over him. I would have absolutely kept Wan-Bissaka over him, and I think Wan-Bissaka would have been decent in this formation. 4 says Chappie. 4.2, he's definitely willing, as Dan says, and undoubtedly loves the club, but he just isn't good enough to do both roles of going forward and defending. We need an upgrade. I think we're all in agreement there. With what the ratings are there from the chat, I'm going to put it to a 4. I'll put it to a 4. Happy to do so. Let me just remove that a second. Okay, then. So up next on the other side. In fact, no, we'll stick to the right side. Let's put this boy up. Mazraoui. Now, this is going to be hard on Mazraoui because if I'm judging Mazraoui on the season he's had so far, I would be giving him a 6 at best. And I could even drop to a 5.5. The only reason I'm doing that is because he's been injured so much. And I would love to see a fully fit Mazraoui in this Manchester United side week in, week out, because I think he offers us so much more, not just playing at right wing back, bloody hell. But what he also allows is Ahmad to be pushed into that 10. And I'll come into that a little bit more later on as to why I think Ahmad being pushed into the 10 is ultimately a good thing for Manchester United. But a fully fit Mazraoui, I think, would be one of our most consistent players. And I think we showed it last season. He is dependable, can play in a few formations. I adore him. I think he is a very, very comfortable player for Manchester United. But if he can stay fit, we have to get him fit. Get him fit, and that rating will fly up. Absolutely fly up. Ben says Wan-Bissaka only went because someone wanted him. No one wants Dalot. Wahaha says 4, just slightly better than Dalot this season, but not available. I think we're on the same page with that, Wahaha. Ben says 5 for me at the moment, but not played well. He's easily a 7+ when fit. That's a great comment, and I think we all in agreement with that. Mazza, the Swiss Army knife of players, can do anything when fit. 7 to 8, so versatile and very tenacious. Akko says 5 this season. I'm assuming you mean because of the injuries, Akko. And Anthony says this season 5 as he's been injured. We've got 4, 5. So, yeah, I think we have to be fair. We have to be fair, and I think Mazza goes down as a 5 at the moment, but 5. But we know he's better, and we know he can be better. There's nothing wrong with us giving him a 5. I don't feel bad for that. I think when he's bombing down the right-hand side at that right wing-back position, I think he offers so much, and I think he puts players under so much pressure. He's so calm on the ball as well, and he's so good going up and down. I think he's brilliant. I just want him fit. Moxie says 6, hasn't played enough this season, but he is 100% our best option at right wing back and can cover inside. Hopefully stays fit and play there for the rest of the season. He could quite easily be our John O'Shea. And when I say John O'Shea, I know John O'Shea won the Prem, won everything with United, but John O'Shea could play everywhere. And he was never going to be someone that could play everywhere and give you an 8 or 9 every week. He was a dependable slot in, 6.5, 7 out of 10. You knew what you were getting. Mazraoui could absolutely be the John O'Shea of this team. When fully fit and Leach are fit, the team will be stronger. Anthony couldn't agree more. The next one. So this one I think is going to be, I think we're going to go to town on this one. I'm going to say with this, who can forget he megged Figo? I'm going to say straight away off the bat with Dorgu. Dorgu has disappointed me so much this season, and I don't want to go in too much because quite like Yoro, he is young and he was brought halfway through last season, and he's had to adapt in the time where Manchester United haven't been at the races. And I think if Dorgu would have joined when we had a fully fit Luke Shaw and we were looking like we were under Ollie, the first couple of seasons, finishing second, finishing in the Champions League, I think Dorgu would have been really, really, really good for us to come on in games and learn his trade. But at the moment, he is in a position where we have thrown this lad into the team and we've expected him to be a good left wing back when, in all fairness, he is a young lad still developing. We bought him from Lecce. I think this lad can go on and do good things, but I do worry. Time will run out with him. Time will run out. Needs to work on his dead ball. He gets himself into such great positions down that left because he has sheer pace. He can outrun most. And he gets himself in these positions. And then the balls he plays across are absolutely woeful. He's got potential. He has got potential. But at the moment, for me, I don't think he's anywhere near it. And I look at him in pre-season. I thought he looked decent in pre-season. I thought, okay, Dorgu looks like he's ready this season. We're going to see something. Now, at his age, he's still got time. And I would still be, if I was United, I'd be giving him at least another couple of seasons. Not as the starting left wing back, though. I would utilize him as a squad player. But for me this season, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. I think 4. I don't think he's been great at all. I know. Wahaha's been waiting for this. I feel like I'm seeing what I was seeing last year with Dorgu, with a few more brain cramps. 1. He's gone for 1. Wahaha's gone for 1. Wow. Okay. Anthony says 6 has shown signs of potential star, but individual errors are inevitable each game. Couldn't agree more with that. Ben's just gone straight with dog shit. Dog shit. I like that. Dog shit 2 from me. He's been terrible. Chappie's gone with a 3. Dorgu 4 was so promising during pre-season. I agree. He has put some cracking balls in. Mind the Casemiro assist was beautiful. That's 1, isn't it? I don't think he's put enough in, Anthony. And Moxie has gone 4, but very disappointing this season. He finished well last season, and I was full of hope for him, but it seems to be struggling so far this season. Working his final ball and will 100% improve. He's got potential. He has. I think looking at what we've got here, I think we're going to stick with... the wind out there. I think we're going to stick with a 4 here. By the way, guys, I hope nobody's been caught in this storm. I hope you're all at home, safe and sound. I hope your families are all okay, because that is horrendous out there. Absolutely horrendous. It's snow next week as well. Right then, next player we will go for. We've gone through all the defenders. We'll get these 2 out the way first, I think. So the first one we'll go to is Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte, signed to be the successor to Casemiro, has had 1 decent month at Manchester United. I got to be honest with you, chat. Ugarte, for me, has been absolutely abysmal. He had a nice little cameo against City, but he is a player that when he comes on the pitch, I panic, because midfield is where we need to keep control of the ball and ultimately where we need to be able to pass the ball and start something up. When Ugarte comes on, his touch is so heavy. His passing is shoddy. There's been a couple of games where you've seen him put a pass, you go, bloody hell. And I go back to the Lemmy situation. We're gassing Lemmy up because he makes a routine save. Why the hell are we gassing up Ugarte when he does a routine pass? I think this lad is completely and utterly gone at the end of the season. I think it's not worked. You know, PSG were happy to get rid of him, and PSG must be happy they've got money all for him. Ugarte is playing for his Manchester United career, and unfortunately, he can't get into the first 11 because I think the trust with the manager isn't there either. I saw him against West Ham. Was it West Ham? Or was it Everton? No, Everton. Was it Everton or West Ham? I think it was West Ham pre-season. And he and Mainu played, and I thought, okay, looks okay. But then he did the bozo moments where it's like he's wearing flippers when he's trying to control the ball. It's bouncing off everywhere. So I absolutely don't see a future for Manuel Ugarte. And I'm going to go, did I say I'm going to go with 3 for Manuel Ugarte. I think he's been absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Wahaha says, not just his final ball, he can't pass anywhere on the pitch. I think you're right to say that. Wasn't good enough for Ruben at Sporting, even as a sub. He's just not good enough. Looks lost most of the time. Let's not forget, we all thought when Ugarte come, he's Uruguayan. These Uruguayans are meaty guys that have fight, and I watched him against Grimsby get bullied off the ball, and I'm thinking, nah, you're not it. Ako goes 6. I think he's just being respectful because he hasn't been on. Ugarte, he's been bad. He was bad last season, and he stepped it up this year into very bad this season. 1. Wow. What you call a man leaving the hospital, Manuel? Oh, Ben. Jesus Christ. Ako says 3 at a push. Chappie's gone with 2.4. Ben's gone 3.5. Moxie has gone 4. Another I've had such hope for, but seems a bit lost. Think he will be moved on. We will put... oh, right. Ako, I can see it, mate. You've put 4. That's fine. Ugarte, I think looking at the scores we've got there, I'll go for a generous 3.5 with a couple of 4s that have been put in there. But absolutely, I think Ugarte's time at Manchester United is over. And it wouldn't surprise me if there are clubs that try and come in for him as well in the January market. We know that Galatasaray have got an interest in him. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a bid put in. And that then would hinder, it would absolutely hinder with what would happen with this boy. The once and future king of Manchester United, Kobbie Mainoo. We did a video on Wednesday night about let him go. And that hurts. I watched that video back, and I never watch my own videos back unless it's the goal reactions. And I watched it back, and I found myself sat there saying, Dan, what the hell are you saying? You know, why are you saying this? This is Kobbie Mainoo. This is a Manchester boy. This is the kid that gets it. And then the realism hit me as we got through the video, and you guys said some great points. Kev said some great points, and I was quite happy with mine. But Kobbie Mainoo this season, I don't think you can give Kobbie Mainoo anything higher than a 4. Just simply because he's not done anything. He hasn't had the opportunity to do anything. He's not been in games long enough to influence games. And Ben, I think a great comment by Ben. I think Ruben gives him a 0. Ruben won't play him. And unfortunately, there's not a lot you can say about this young lad other than I hope that he can find a way into the team. I hope that he can prove Ruben, who I think is his biggest doubter, wrong. But the time is running out like it is for Ugarte. And I think we're pretty much set with the 2 central midfielders that we've got, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. So where I'm giving Kobbie Mainoo a 3, it breaks my heart to do that, because playing week in, week out, this is another lad that I could quite easily sit here and be saying 7 out of 10, consistent, knows what his job is, and is absolutely a big part of this team. But the guy's not even a bloody squad player. And DJ Darker, US Knight says, you're not late, mate, don't worry. And Kobbie can't even be match fit. He never plays. That is a big thing. Like, you wait until he actually gets his opportunity. He ain't going to be match fit for it. So I just worry. I worry about the kids. And I said all I had to say about it the other night. Anthony says, sadly, Free hasn't had much of a chance, but when he gets minutes, he hasn't really done much. Mainoo, no comments. Change of system, ruin players. Sometimes Mainoo is an example. Justice for Mainoo. I'm going to start that one. I like that. Chappie says would be an 8+ if he was managed correctly. I agree. Wahaha says whatever little he played, he wasn't doing anything. 3 just because he hasn't been woeful on the pitch for less. I can take that. Hard to give a rating. Not really seen him play, sadly, so I have to say 3. 3.5 says Moxie. Honestly, can't really mark him fairly this season, as he's done okay when he's been given game time. But keeping Bruno as our midfield has hindered his career, unfortunately, for a United lad. And it's sad to say that. It breaks my heart to say that. As a football fan, when you have one of your youth players coming through, you love them, you adore them. You know, we had the class of '92 for us. Before that, you've got the Busby Babes. At Manchester United, it's so much different than other clubs. When these boys come through, because of the rich history Manchester United pride themselves on, we love nothing more than when these kids come through and they forge a career for themselves and they go on to become United stars, and you just watch them grow and you enjoy it and you love it. We haven't been afforded this. He's had 4 starts under Amorim. It's not good enough, and do you know what? I still go as far to say I blame the manager for that. I've been very calm with my words on the manager, but I genuinely think he's ruining this kid, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Next player. This one might divide. The captain, Bruno Fernandes. I love the way they say that on the commentary. Bruno Fernandes, our captain. I'm going to come straight out the gate here, and I'm going to say, look, Bruno is playing in a formation that he doesn't want to be in. He doesn't like playing central midfield. He is essentially doing his job for Manchester United. He's doing it to try and help the team out. I can't get past the fact that the earlier games in the season, I thought he was woeful. I thought his positioning was skew with, missed the penalties as well, which really could have helped propel us up. If we'd have had those 2 penalties, if we'd have scored those 2 penalties, the table could look a lot different. We could be like second by a couple of points here. But ifs, buts, and maybes, of course. Ifs, buts, and maybes, as Kev would say, if my granny had balls. The last couple of games with Bruno, and I think maybe from sort of Liverpool on, I'd say, I've seen a change. I've seen discipline in his game in the midfield. Yes, sometimes he still goes wandering a little bit, but I've seen a lad who's started to really, really, and Waha has taken the words there, grow into this position. For me, he still isn't the future of that position. His age is against him. For the way that Ruben wants to play and the way that Ruben demands his midfield do what they do, it can't go on forever for Bruno. But I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes a 6.5 out of 10. And that might surprise some of you, but I can't get over. We're talking about a whole season here. And at the start of the season, I don't think he was at the races. I get it. He was probably still trying to get used to the format, to the position he was in. But at the end of the day, we go on performances, don't we? So 6.5 for me. As I said, he's growing. He's grown into this position, and who knows what happens when AFCON comes. There is going to be changes of positions. We may see more of the old Bruno, but he's only got 3 assists this season, I think, as well. Moxie says, think it would be a good move all round if we get Kobe alone in January. Yeah, I agree. I don't want him getting sold. Wahaha says 6 horrible starts to the season, seems to be growing into his role on the pitch. Anthony says 6 or 7, not his best season, not in his position, but he's still creating chances. And again, who else do you put in for him? I agree. Although we do have a young lad who's a Manchester boy that I think should be given at least an opportunity. Delit for me after Bruno, says DJ Dark US Knight. Chappie says 5, been bad and good, but should be plying his trade in the desert. Yeah, that's something we're always going to be. That's always going to come back to haunt us. That is. Moxie says 6.5. He can still influence games, and as the team has been improving, he's definitely doing better in the midfield because he's gained confidence in the system. I think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that comment, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say I'm going to say 6.5. No, we're just giving them the ratings. We're just giving ratings. Oh, you're still at Delit, mate. Okay, you're still at Delit. That's fine. You'll see this later on when you get to there. I was wondering what he's talking about then. Okay, then. So let's move on to the next one. I haven't even saved him as Cass. I've saved him as Uncle Casemiro. Now, Uncle Casemiro is a player that shouldn't be playing as much games for Manchester United as he is, but that's where we are. We don't have players that can come in that the manager feels can do a better job, and we have seen consistency. We average a goal conceded every 123 minutes when he's in the team. He's chipped in with goals this season. He's done really well. Now, this is all down to the fact we're not playing as many games. I think we can all agree on that. And I've got to be honest with you, chat. I've been really impressed with Unk. I really have. I think Unk's done really, really well. I think his passing's decent. I think he breaks up play good. I think he's got the respect of his teammates on the field. And also, I think when he goes off the field is where you see the rhythm start to drop a little bit. And I think players start to panic a little bit. I see him still berating players and giving... there is no look that you want like the Uncle Casemiro look when he gives you the... I can't get it, hurt my eyes, but he's like, gives you the look. I think he's contender for so far our player of the season, and that might be laughable to say, but I'm giving Uncle Casemiro a strong 8.5. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been a rock in that midfield, and I think he's been important to Bruno as well. I genuinely feel like if Bruno was playing week in, week out with Ugarte, I think he was playing week in, week out with Mainu, I think Bruno would not be as disciplined. I think because Unk has got the respect he has, and I think he's a player that even Bruno doesn't go against, I think this is where Bruno's being a bit more disciplined in the way he plays. I go 8.5, and I don't think that's out of term. I really, really don't. Wahaha says our player of the season so far, 9. It's looking like he's going to turn down a new contract, DJ Dart US Night, unless you're talking about Shaw, because you're quite a way back, maybe. But it does look like it. I think he wants the money, doesn't he? If look, we've had this video before, and we'll talk about it just for a second. If he was willing to take that pay cut, absolutely stay on, but I don't think he will. Slowly becoming the keystone in midfield, came back this season looking 20 years younger, and we are simply worse without him on the pitch. 8, says Anthony. Moxie says 7.5. Having one game a week has definitely helped him, but struggling to see 90 minutes out. Looks more assured as he should. Definitely a driving influence at this moment. And we've got a 7.5 would be more, but discipline lets him down. I didn't think about the Chelsea game, actually, because I probably would have marked him down to an 8. I think looking at the ones that we've got here, though, I think we're going to give Unk. I'm going to put Unk in there. We'll give him an 8. I think we'll give Unk an 8. I think he deserves that 8. I think he's worked extremely hard for it. And now we go into the realms of the pitch where people, obviously do their bit. The first person I'm going to go to is this guy, Mason Mount. I'm going to say off the bat with Mason Mount, I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. I think Mason Mount, when he's played, has looked good. And I think when he plays in that false 3, I think he looks really good. He had the trust of the manager to start the season, got that injury, and has just been working his way back in. Made his appearance back against Spurs, which I thought, out of all the subs, I thought he did okay. I want to see Mason Mount get as many minutes under his belt as he can this season, because I still think in there's a player that could turn it around and be an important squad player for Manchester United. Where's the number 7? I don't think he should be wearing that. But his attitude, again, I think his attitude at United is incredible. And I also think what I love about him is he gets under the skin of opposition players. He loves a tussle. And I think you need players like that. I think you absolutely need players like that. I think you can tell from afar that he is adored by Amorim, and I think he's been good. I don't think he's been great. Chipped in with a goal. I think he's been good, and I'm looking forward to keeping the fully fit Mason Mount. I would go with a 7. What have we got here? Sick note. Sorry. I was going to come back at you then, but he has been injured this season. Hey Joe, good to see you. Hope you are well. Chappie says 7. Anthony says, really surprised me this season. If he stays fit, can make a big impact on a game. 7 to 8, definitely putting the effort in. Wahaha as well with the praise. Wahaha, love this tonight, mate. You must be in a good mood. A high 7 might look better than Cunha so far. That I agree with. And people aren't going to like that. And I don't think people are going to like my rating for Cunha either, but I agree with that. I think he has looked better than Cunha. Moxie says, been steady and can look great in games. Will definitely start in some big games ahead of Big Ben. I agree, absolutely. Okay, look, he's been injured once this season. We'll give him a little bit of grace, DJ Dark US Night. We'll have this conversation at Christmas. Well, Christmas is next month. We'll have it in January and see what our thoughts are there. But yeah, I'm happy that we're looking at a 7. In fact, I'm going to put a 7 for him. Let me just get rid of Unk. Okay, then. So the next one we come to, this is where we start coming to the flary players. Okay. And we'll go with this. We'll get this lad in. Ahmad. I thought Ahmad was incredible against Spurs before he got moved to right wing back. And I think we've learned this season that Ahmad is another player that is still struggling with this system. The finish against Forest was sublime, decent touches. My only criticism of Ahmad is sometimes you'll pick that ball up and he turns and goes back the other way. And I go, Ahmad, run. You've got the skill. No one drops a shoulder like him, at his age, playing now, not talking about Messi. Drops his shoulder and he's gone. This kid can be great. And he is starting to build a nice partnership with Brian. That is coming, and it will take time. And Ahmad is still young. So again, I don't want us to be heaping and piling the pressure on this kid. But I've been okay. I think he's done okay this season. And I would go as far with Ahmad to give him a 6.5. I think 6.5. I think start of the season he was quite poor. I think he's started to come back into it now as the season's gone on. And I think, look, another one. We are gonna miss him when AFCON comes, guys. When AFCON comes around, he is going to be a player that we're going to go, fucking hell, I wish we had Ahmad on the pitch. That's what sort of pushes me to push into a 6.5. It's a tough one. I think this will divide. Let's have a quick look. So Wahaha says 5 for Ahmad. Awful start to the season. Getting better at not occupying the same space as Brian and starting to look better. And I've got no problem with that, Wahaha, because I can see where your logic is with it. 8.5 from DJ Dart US Night. 5 to 6. He is very on and off, and can be fantastic with the Brian link up, but also looks lost and makes poor decisions. Which some of that you could give, you could put that down to his age, couldn't you? He's played a lot of football for United, but he's fast becoming someone that I think will end up becoming a superstar for us. He's just got to keep level-headed. 7, run Forest, run, says Chappie. 7, okay. I've said 6.5, and I'm looking at I think we can go 6.5, guys, because I think there has been some. It's kind of in and around there. Moxie comes in and says, "Don't think I haven't seen you, Isaac." I'll come to that in a second. 6 has the ability to change a game, and in a flash, we've seen moments. Would still like to see him have a run at left wing back to overlap Cunha. I don't know why this hasn't happened yet. And we talk about us being football fans that watch and watch and watch. We can't all be wrong. I would like to see him at left wing back. I think he would cook at left wing back. What rating did you give Anderson? Got to be one of your best players, surely. Anderson this season, other than the United game, I give him, honestly, Isaac, I'd be interested to know what your rating would be. I'd only give him a 7 this season. I think it's because of the team he's been in and the manager he's had around him. I can't even doing this, but we know what Anderson can do. But I think a 7, and I think that's generous in the season he's had the team he's in so far. Anderson, he's better than Cleverson. No one's better than Cleverson. He was a superstar. Ahmad also needs to trust our right back, says DJ Dart US Knight, and Ahmad 7 says Akko. I feel like we've gone too low on him, but to be fair, look, we'll stick with the 7. We'll stick with the 7. Now this one comes next, and this one again, I think I'm going to annoy you all with. I think I am, but I am going straight off the bat, and I am saying that Cunha, for me, has been a 6 out of 10 at Manchester United. A 6 out of 10. And this isn't me saying that I think this signing's a failure, because I don't think it's a failure at all. I think the injury he got at the start of the season, I think has caused him to struggle to get back. And there have been games where he's come on and done well. I think, and I think it was Wahaha, or it may have been Moxie a couple of weeks, or it may have been you, Ben, actually. I think Cunha's biggest issue here is he is struggling with who is down the left with him. I don't think he gets on well with Dorgu on that side. There's no partnership sort of there. He is the one that's had it chopped and changed the most. Dalot, Dorgu, Dalot. I would be interested to see how Cunha got on with Luke Shaw down that left. I would be interested. I think we would see a more happy and more confident Cunha. I thought Cunha was one of the biggest players at fault against Spurs. I think he is struggling. I think he's struggling with the formation, and I think he is struggling with that left side. Put Luke Shaw there, who's dependable on that left, a fully fit one. I think we'll see a different one. Let me quickly get this one. What? 7? You can't have watched him all season. He's been putting 9 or 10 every other game this season, including for England. He's been man of the match. We're not talking about England, though, are we, Isaac? We're talking about. I mean, if we're talking about international, then Cunha would be getting a bloody 8 from me. He's been decent for Brazil. I don't think he's been. I think 7's above average. You know, I'm saying, you know, I don't think he's been 9 or 10 out of 10 this season. I just don't. I don't. Caicedo's been like sort of 9 out of 10 this season. I don't think he's been that good. He's quality. You know my thoughts. I adore him. Cunha 7, says Akko. In reality, on performance, Anthony says 6 to 7 sometimes. Is a bit too keen for the eye candy. The lad is a 12. When he gets the ball, you can just feel the whole crowd gasp. Just give him someone to link up with. And I think we're on the same page with this. I think, and also, Isaac, put your ratings in here. I'd be interested to see, because you are, as much as you're not a Forest fan, you are actually, you know, you do give a good opinion on it. I'd be interested to see what you think about Cunha. So we're happy. 6.8 says Chappie. Cunha 6 is about right. Could be less than but he's shown class on occasion, like Liverpool game. Yeah, I think we're all in the same page with this. I think we are all on the same page with going sort of 6 with that. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think, look, we're certainly not, and I want to make sure people who are listening to this, I am not writing Cunha off. Cunha is going to be quality for United. I just think at the moment he needs to find his place in the team and needs to find his person that he can link up with. We all expected him and Brian to be that linking duo and assist. It hasn't actually happened just yet. Moxie says 6.5 for me. Injury definitely hindered him after the start. Looks comfortable in that United shirt. His ability to keep the ball is great, and agree with Short or Ahmad down the left to help him will improve. Yeah, I agree. No wonder you don't think he's 100 million. What do you mean? I thought we were just talking about player individually. You can't drop Anderson's ratings because he's been in an underperforming team, surely. I think he's been, look, I'm happy to give you 7.5, but I don't think he's been 9 or 10. I don't think he's been 9 or 10 out of 10. But again, look, the other thing to that, Isaac, is again you watch him week in, week out. I've watched 3 or 4 games, and I go off that. I go off that. You know I love him. DJ Dart US Night says, Dan, I grew up in Nottingham. My friends in Anderson's camp says he's not interested unless we go top 4, and even then he'd like Arsenal. Just saying. Well, who knows? Who knows? Money talks. He wouldn't get in the Arsenal side at the moment because they're quite Isaac before you ever melt down. He wouldn't get in the Arsenal side at the moment because of the way that they play their football. Unless Odegaard went, then I think you'd sort of maybe. 8 for Cunha, says Ben. Feel bad now giving him a 6. I think we're going to go with looking at the people commenting here. Let me just have a look. Okay, we'll go 7. We'll go 7 because I think a lot of you had put some points in there for him. We had to sack Nuno because he was trying to get sacked. Then Ange, who didn't have a clue, and through that he has still been exceptional and ranks first in the Prem for so many things this season. Okay. Bruno ranks top for chances created. Are we going to give Bruno an 8 out of 10 because of that? I'm not sure. A 6. Okay, fair enough, Isaac. I appreciate that. Cunha is 6 for me. Still looks like a cangy teenager. Moxie says, but he was in an overperforming team last season, Isaac. Would love him at United. That's a good comment. Okay, then, so that's Cunha. Next one. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this guy. I cannot wait to talk about this guy. Here he comes. Where would we be without Brian this season, man? And he hasn't even been at his best. We need to remember this, and Wahaha's definitely going to fly in with this, I think. But he hasn't been at his best. Brian has not been at his best at all. He's been fucking good though. There have been games I've watched him and I've gone, oh, he's close, he's close. I absolutely adore this lad. He's already probably my favourite player in that team. I love him. I mean, look, we wanted him so bad. We were championing for him so bad. We waited and waited. And I said to you all at the start of the season, do not turn your back on this lad. You've got to give him a chance to learn what it is to be United. And I tell you something, when you look at someone wearing a Manchester United shirt, he just looks like he was made to play in it, doesn't he? And I adore him. I would say with Brian, I am going to give Brian an 8.5. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I love him. I think he adds so much to this team. He does not. In fact, no, fuck it. I'm going 9. He adds so much to this team. I think he is a player that has got that moment of magic in him. He's getting goals. He's our top scorer. He is getting goals for this team that is still learning the system, Amorim, blah, 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 blah. I love him, and I think he is going to be such a miss when it comes to the AFCON. I don't think we're even prepared for how much we're going to miss this bloke. I genuinely wish nothing but the best to this guy, but I hope his team is absolutely appalling at the African Cup of Nations so we can get him back injury-free and get him back in this team. I love him. Absolutely love him. Brian has been an absolute superstar. He's been, I would say, my player of the season so far. Ben says, Brian Brigade, 9. Chappie says 9. Anthony says 15 out of 10. Absolute legend. Strolled into the team like the shirt was made for him. Best signing for many years. Fernandez ranks first for chances created. Do you want me to run through a list of things? Anthony's first thought. I'll be typing for a while, but give me. And you can type away. We're doing bloody United ratings here. I just... Surely me giving him a 7 is a good thing because it means we're not going to go for him as much. I love you, Isaac. How to change the tune with Isaac. Isaac, how much are you selling a Fredo for today? 7.5 says Wahaha. I thought it'd be lower than that from you, Wahaha. For Brian, same as Ahmad, had a horrible start in my opinion. I know a lot of you don't agree back then. And will less today. He's been scoring out of his mind lately, so our best forward easily. High praise. Isaac, pretty easy, buddy. The rest of the team is dog shit. 9, easiest score to give tonight. He's just a joy to watch and will only improve as he grows into that shirt, Brian Brigade. 8 out of 10 says Akko. Love that. Cameroon got beaten in the World Cup playoff. Oh, I love that. I love that because Brian playing AFCON and the World Cup, he would have been absolutely knackered. So that is great news. That is fantastic news. He will be so prepared for next season. That's buzzing. I'm chuffed with that. I think we can quite happily. Most touches, most passes into Brill. He's a player that your team plays through. We saw that against us. Of course, he's going to have high stats. Look, Isaac, if it makes you feel better, I will give him an 8 out of 10. There you go. Anderson, 8 out of 10. There. Fucking hell. Anana helping us out for a change, says Anthony. Brian, I think we can safely say, even though I said, I think we're going to go 9. I think he's the player of the season so far. And then the last one. The last one is Big Ben. Big Ben. So Sesko, if you're Gary Neville, I'm telling you right now, you're giving him a minus 29 million out of 10 because he just doesn't rate him. Benjamin Sesko, I think we're uncovering more and more about this transfer, and I think he was a transfer that Amorim did not want. I think Amorim wanted the tried and trusted in Watkins. He got Sesko because Vivell and Wilcox wanted him. But that's not his fault. That's not Sesko's fault. And what I'm going to say about Sesko, I am going to look at it for what he does off the ball as well as what he does on it. And I think Sesko, if I'm being brutally honest, I would say I would give him a 5.5 out of 10. And that's not me saying he's rubbish, guys. That's me saying he has been a victim again of not being played. The team does not play to Sesko's strengths. And unfortunately, Isaac's still going on. Unfortunately, that has hampered his development at Manchester United. You've got a 6'5" striker that you can't cross a ball into. There's problems. I still believe this lad can go on a scoring run and score goals. And I do actually think, without a doubt, he will have better stats than Rasmus Højlund. And hopefully people can stop talking about he's the next Højlund. He's not. He's far better than Højlund. You've just got to give this lad the chance to. You've got to give him the chance. You've got to play to his strengths. I think in Amorim's eyes, he's still in a development role with him, which sounds crazy with the amount of money that we've spent on him, and we can get bantered for it. But I think this lad needs a run of games in the league, and I think he gets better. So 5.5, much like Mazraoui, no, he can be better with a run of games, and with the team playing for him. 6 for Big Ben, holds the ball up well, great awareness and has a good touch. He just needs a couple of goals in this next run of games up until Christmas. Agree. Isaac's gone 9.5 for Brian. Good one. Appreciate that. I'll give Anderson 9.5. Mate, now you said that. Big Ben, feel for the lad. The stick he has taken, had to take, has been awful. 6. I like his movement. I like his link play. The goals will come, and when we have a better midfield that can actually feed him. Agree. Wahaha says 6. He started to look quality and he got dropped, and it showed in the last few weeks. Confidence, isn't it, Wahaha, with him? Big Ben gets a 7 from me. His movement and flick-ons, etc., is allowing Brian and Cunha to shine. I agree with that. Agreed. There we go. DJ Darky this night agrees. I'm not selling Frodo's anymore. I've diverted the shop funds into an Elliot Anderson Brilliance Awareness campaign. Send me your PayPal. I'll donate into that. And he has already blown Rasmus away. You can already see what he will bring. I agree. So looking at that, I think, looking at what you guys have give, I think we give him a 6 out of 10. And there we have it, guys. There we have it. That was it. I enjoyed that. And yes, Moxie, good to see you, mate. Take care of yourself. United till I die. Yeah, I was going to remove myself off the stage there. Right, let's get rid of that. So there we go, guys. That was good. I enjoyed that. Good, interesting show. Not all talking about bloody transfers and lack of. I think it's been good. We'll quickly run through the ratings. So Biende got a 2. Lemmy got an 8. DeLitt got an 8. Maguire got a 7. Shaw got a 7. Dallo got a 4. Mazza got a 5. Dorgu got a 4. Ugarte got a 3.5. Manu got a 4. Bruno got 6.5. Uncle Casemiro got an 8. Mount got a 7. Ahmad got a 6.5. Cunha got a 7. Brian got a 9. And Sesko got a 6. And I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Does Xerxes get a chance? Maybe. Tesco 6. The only 10 out of 10 shop around here is Isaac's Bargain Buys. Nothing else comes close. Yeah. I've heard that before. Right then, chat. Thank you very much for sticking by. If you're watching this back on playback, tell me what your thoughts are on the ratings. Put them in there. Be intrigued to see what you guys go with. I've enjoyed this. I think we'll do more stuff like this moving forward. Remember, no show tomorrow. It's Mrs. Robinson's day tomorrow, as you always know. I spend time with Mrs. Robinson on a Saturday if we haven't got football. But other than that, enjoy your Fridays. I'm off to watch the final of Big Brother. Love and adore each and every one of you. Dan United, Brian Brigade, Man United. Oota!